Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. Very interesting news if you're a Springbok fan, with the world champions set to face the All Blacks next year as many as 4 times. The greatest rivalry tour, which is set to debut in 2026, will see New Zealand come to South Africa for a full-length tour, which will feature 3 tests, a 3-match test series against Springboks, as well as matches against the 4 URC franchises, as well as a South African A match. Basically a British and Irish Lions style tour, but the Boks and the All Blacks, with the thinking that the Boks will then go to the All Blacks a couple of years after this one. However, there is also talk that there's going to be an additional test between the Boks and New Zealand, and this is set to take place at a neutral venue. Frontrunners for the venue, one would imagine Twickenham being one of them. We have already played against the All Blacks in that build-up to the 2023 World Cup. We had that once-off game where the Boks actually recorded their biggest ever victory against the All Blacks. The other big destination is the USA, which the New Zealand are actually going to this year to face against Ireland once again in Chicago. And with the try and build up to the World Cup happening in 2031 in the USA, very, very likely that we could then see a New Zealand versus Bok game next year. So next year, if you're a Bok fan and you enjoy Boks versus the All Blacks, well, get ready, because you're going to see it at least 3 times, likely 4 times, and it's going to be an absolute showstopper of a season. In terms of what this is going to mean for the Boks, you couldn't have asked for better World Cup preparation, I suppose, could you have? I mean, let's be honest. As much as we enjoy traveling and different challenges, and we probably would have liked to probably play against in Australia next year, for example. We've played there twice, last year, which I think was quite important, and I think it was very interesting to see the way we used our team last year. I think was very deliberate in terms of exposing players to what playing in Australia is like, because we don't get to play against Australian teams anymore from a franchise point of view and the likes of that. But next year, you're now going to be playing against, at this stage, what top 3 best teams in the world 4 times. And I think that's brilliant. It still means that you'll probably play a test against Australia, probably play a test against Argentina. Would be very interesting to see who our incoming tour is next year. We had Ireland last year, but Italy this year. Wales have been here recently, so we're probably overdue either a French incoming tour or an England incoming tour or a Scotland incoming tour, for example. So it'll be a good incoming tour regardless if it's those 3, even a Welsh incoming tour. Hopefully by then next year they'll be a bit better. And then obviously whatever our end of year tour looks like. So I think it's shaping out to be the perfect year to really, really test the entire squad depth and to be able to give the exposure to anybody you want to. You probably be going into that 3-test series saying, right, this is the time to now build our World Cup 3-peat squad. Play them against New Zealand 3 times, see what they can do. Play these guys week in, week out, and make sure that everyone's aligned. Somebody like Sashfai Magomazulu, for example, who only made his debut last year, he could go into the next World Cup with hopefully 6, 7, 8 tests against the All Blacks, which some people don't get in their entire career. And that's what's really exciting, is that we get to expose our players to really high levels of opposition. Yes, it'll be at home, so maybe a little bit easy from that perspective, but I think that's also a really good thing if you're trying to build a squad with youth and the likes of that. And I just think from a rugby point of view, it's going to be fun. Obviously Australia and Argentina lose out, but for me, to be able to think that next year we're going to be able to go watch Lions versus All Blacks, Bulls versus All Blacks, and SA 18, how cool is that going to be versus the All Blacks? First of all, it's going to be a phenomenal watch from a spectator point of view, and then again from a preparation point of view, to be able to expose all those players, the Lions players, the Sharks players, your young players, and often you will have your Boks there, but sometimes you won't, and even in an SAA side. So you get to expose all these players to essentially international rugby. And what that's going to do is you're going to be able to see which of these players are ready. Players like, I don't know, you think about who's in the lineman camp. Something like Asanate Tlabakanye, for example, for the Lions. He can then go and scrum against, the New Zealand front row. And if he holds up, then Don Hume's going to sit there and say, well, there we go. Now I know he's ready. So this is what these kind of tours could potentially do. I think it's a fantastic thing for the Boks and for New Zealand. I think that it really means that we're going to continue to play high-level rugby consistently, which is really good. I am a little bit sad in terms of, obviously, it's going to be a reduced rugby championship. I think the value of the rugby championship is going to fall away, but I do think, obviously, financially, this is the reason we're going. But as we go towards the future, I think we are going to see things change a lot to how they've been done the last 10, 15 years. Try and create a better narrative, almost like a kind of an Ashes, really, in terms of the greatest rivalry tour. And for as long as these 2 teams do continue to be at least in the top 4, if not the 1-2 best teams in the world, it will continue to be a really, really big tour and a big rivalry. It is the biggest rivalry in rugby. I don't think too many people can argue that. And so much like the biggest rivalry in cricket is, you know, or you got Australia, England traditionally, these days Pakistan, India, obviously a big one. But you're going to get to have this every few years. So I think it's really, really cool. And I think it's very cool that we're going to actually have that fourth test, even if it's on a neutral venue. It's really cool to see because we've got such a big, you know, expat community that they really get behind. So what do you think of the potential tour? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.